Alright, I'm back again at AMC community and ape community and YouTubers and you know who else who gives a shit or not or whatever. Busy day today, I guess. Okay, there was a tweet out by Adam Aaron stating a couple facts, and I think a lot of people are getting confused or making assumptions or jumping the gun. And you know what? It doesn't even fucking matter. It really does not. And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why institutional holdings, blah, 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 the exposure of naked shorting or all that shit, how none of that fucking matters, especially if it doesn't even show any naked shorts whatsoever or prove any naked shorts whatsoever. That doesn't fucking matter, and I'm going to show you why. Okay. So first and foremost, let's clear up this Adam Aaron's tweet. I think it was taken as a whole and not taken as is. If you look at the actual filing for the recount, it states in there quite clearly. You just have to read it carefully and know your grammar. Okay, he said 501 total shares. Y'all, that's no big news. And there's a total of 4.1 million investors. He didn't say retail, and same thing with the filing for the share count. It never states that 4.1 million is retail investors. It just says total. It just says individual investors. That can mean institutions. That just means separate. Each separate one has so many shares. That's just how they word it. Otherwise, they would have specifically called out retail investors or called out how much exactly the institutions themselves have. They didn't for a reason, and that's why. It's not FUD. It's not misleading. It's just the way they worded it, and people are freaking out, and people are, oh, look, it proves there's all these fucking naked shorts. We know there's naked shorts. We don't need no fucking proof. B, and at the other end, people say, oh, well, it doesn't prove, it doesn't show them. Well, it's not going to show them. That's the thing, you guys. That's the thing nobody's gotten this whole time. I've known it since the beginning that the share count was going to be a waste of fucking time. It was going to be a bunch of FUD for distractions and to FOMO people and to get people fucking screaming the way out because, oh, it didn't show shit. Oops, you're wrong. No, the thing is, they were never going to show the true naked shorting count, and this is why. Okay, all right, sorry. Before we get back, I'm going to finish those numbers. Okay, so there's 4.1 million total investors, okay? And then there's a comma. In the filing, there's a period in between these sentences. And this is why it's important. This is why they're two separate thoughts, not saying that they're the same thing. And it says, period, retail investors own 80%. So that means, and the math adds up too. So if you have 4.1 million total investors, and you take that, if we own 80%, that means more or less there's going to be 80% of investors. You know, it's kind of no-brainer. 80% and 80%. So 80% of 4.1 million is 3,280,000 retail investors. And if you take that 80% and you take 80% of 501 million is roughly 393 million to 401 million. And remember, he said you guys own about, and that's right on the money right there, right on the money. So that's 3,280,000 retail investors own 393 to 401 million shares, which equals 80%. Equals 80% of investors and 80% of the stock. So it does make sense. And an average of 120 makes sense too. Because if you try and average 120 in any other way, it doesn't make sense. So don't get it too twisted and it proves this or it doesn't prove that, or, you know, frankly, it doesn't fucking matter because it was never going to show it anyway. And that's what no one's getting, and I don't understand why people aren't getting that. Okay, so reason it's not going to show, and it wouldn't have shown, and I knew, and I'm sure some people know, and why it's fucking frustrating. But okay, the reason it's not going to show is they don't report their fucking synthetic shares. Of course they're not. They're naked shorts. Of course they're not going to report them. They're not going to report them then. They're not going to report them now. So you're saying, oh well, they once they're in the system though, that's going to accumulate, and retail investors are going to pick them up, and then that's what's going to make the amount so much higher. It's going to be over whatever percentage, and that's how it's going to show. Not necessarily. Remember the volatile week we had leading up to it? Yeah, you don't think that some of the buying going on was just Citadel, buying some shares off the market and hiding them, getting rid of, taking care of those naked shorts with them? They took care of the naked shorts the week leading up to them by buying. That's why they never appeared. Never. Not hard to figure out. Not hard at all. But that doesn't mean that they didn't exist. They did exist. And they could probably figure that out through the math. I mean, fuck, think of it. Why do you think there was 700 fucking million shares traded in a day? Almost twice the float. For how many days? How many days were above the total float count in shares traded? Well, you really think that 90%, or if not more, of retail investors and institutions alike all traded their shares multiple times that day? No. It's just fucking asinine. That's asinine. No one. There was no swings to play on those days. I mean, they were pretty much just straight up. No one was swinging massively. There's no way they could have swung. There's no way that the total amount of shares could have been swing traded twice that day. I mean, or just swing traded in a total, back and forth transaction to equal, the 700 million and above. So that's where it happened. That's why we had such insane volume that day. Not only that, but such insane volume, but the price did go up, but it didn't moon. And it didn't moon because a lot of those were those hedgies taking care of their naked shorts. And that's why nothing showed up on the share count. And that's why the stock price didn't skyrocket at that kind of level, and that's why the trading level was that freaking high. I mean, come on, it's simple fucking duh. And they could probably figure that out if the SEC looked into it by looking into how many shares, each share, if they took every share of the first trade, if they followed it just once, to see if it traded again. And I guarantee you they would see that most of them did not. And they'd be like, well, how does that happen? How did most of them not trade again? And then there was double the volume. Because they took care of their naked shorts with it. They went back to the naked shorts and they disappeared. They went back to nothing, like they came from. So that's why. But that's no reason to FOMO out of AMC and go, oh, well, fuck, they covered those. So? That means we scared the shit out of them. That means they were, oops, we have to do this now, shit. Start shredding paper. That's what that was. And the SEC's looked at it, and I guarantee the SEC's probably going to look at it for this reason that I'm talking about too. I mean, those volume days, come on. And then all the hype and ape community and the posts and just the overall sentiment of hold, yet every single share traded twice? I don't think so. It's common sense. They didn't trade twice. They just traded once, and there was probably almost double the fucking float in naked shorts, and that's how they got rid of them. is they bought their naked shorts out and they died where they became, out of nothing. They're not going to report them selling them, shorting them, creating them. So why would they report them buying back and destroying them? They're not. That's why. Okay, so that's cleared up. That doesn't take anything away from AMC. AMC is still AMC. It's still heavily shorted. In fact, they just came out with new info. This says... Shit, where is it? Oh, it says... Fuck, I had that written down somewhere, didn't I? Okay. Said that something around 25% of AMC is shorted. Well, that makes perfect sense. 80% of institutional, that might be shorts right there. And maybe a couple jackasses that like to swing trade or whatever, but there it is. It's still heavily shorted. In fact, they're digging in deeper. They're digging in deeper because they can a little bit because they got rid of their nakeds. So, we don't need their nakeds. We don't need them. We don't need them. We still have, what, 100 million shorted shares? And they still have to cover? And we're still way the hell up here at 40... Hang on, where are we at here? We're at, I don't know, 47? Bring it on. Let's do it. Let's squeeze the fuckers now. So, tomorrow, buy small increments, 1, 2, 5, 10 shares, $3 above the strike price, and let's squeeze these fuckers tomorrow. And you know what? Tomorrow's a perfect day because tomorrow is the 6th day that AMC's been kind of trading sideways, and GameStop, look at GameStop, it traded sideways for about 6 days right before it squeezed too. So let's call it the 7th day fuckery. Let's get them tomorrow.